What the hell is going on, people? This is Periodic, and you see the title of the video. We are jumping back into Dragonball Z Dokkan Battle, and we are once again rating every single summonable legendary rare in the game, this time for June of 2021 global.
Hit my thought. I shut it down wherever power is stored. Being real is in the past, watching cowards get on. It ain't kill me, so it's making me stronger. And these bite-sized rappers now sensing my home.
So, you peep the tier list. As you can see, there are 9 tiers. There is a 10th down here, but this is Japan only. So it's the 6-year anniversary units. Because honestly, that's the only thing that we're missing, right? Is literally just the 6-year anniversary units. We have every other LR that has come out besides that. So the JP actually, they got some distance that they have to create because Global's about to be all caught up in like 2 weeks. So that's kind of interesting. But anyway, 9 tiers. At the very top is the strongest. At the very bottom is the weakest. So Master Roshi tier being the weakest. Zeno tier being the strongest. Keep in mind, everything above King Yema tier is pretty darn good. Everything above Grand Kai tier is really strong. And everything in Beerus tier and above is absolutely broken. So if you see something in the Beerus tier, don't think it's like, oh my god, how can you rate it so low? How dare you say it's terrible? It's like, no. Beerus tier is still Beerus level power. Like, it's still ridiculously strong. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to throw all of the characters on the tier, and then I'll go slight details for each one of them, and then we'll proceed. Keep in mind, I like to, not that anybody's going to listen to this, but I like to rate them on an all-around scale. I take into effect how good they are when they are filled with next to supports and on their own team. I take into effect how many teams they can be put on. I put heavily, I weigh heavily difficult events like Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, GT Legend of Goku event, things like that, right? So I take all those factors into account. It's not just like, oh, let's look at the APT and see what does the most damage, because people that do that don't know Dokkan Battle. Like, they just are actually brain dead. And I won't listen to those arguments because they're silly. But people that actually know how units should be rated, this list is for you. So let's start it. So we're starting at the bottom tier, Master Roshi tier, and as you can see, the 4 units at the bottom, you have LR, Goten, and Trunks, LR, AGL, Majin Vegeta, LR, Intelligence, Kamehameha, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and then LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Now, the thing that the first 3 have in common is they lack they just lack defense. I was going to say a ridiculous amount of defense, but it's just defense. They just lack defense. They don't have any at all. And the Super Saiyan 3 does have defense, quite a lot of it actually, 120k percent, but he loses the majority of it when he super attacks, when he does an ultra super attack. And the problem is that you want him to do an ultra super attack, because if he doesn't do an ultra super attack, he has no attack passive at all. He only gains this 180 if he's doing an ultra. So then he drops from 120% defense all the way down to 30% of his defense. So that is pretty crappy because of how this is calculated. So just keep that in mind. For the most part, if you want him to do damage, he's going to have 0 defense. The same thing with these 3 other characters. He's very wonky just because if you do 12 keys, then he's going to lower his own attack, which is just terrible. But it is what it is. Now, you can kind of understand why these 4 belong on the Master Roshi tier. So if we move up to the King Yema tier, we have 3 more options, 2 Trunks and the victim that gets sliced up by them, Frieza. So first off, it's going to be physical Super Saiyan Trunks. Second, it's going to be LR Trunks and Mai. And then last, it's going to be Final Form Frieza. Now, the main thing with these guys is this dude, I actually like his kit. He gives himself decent attack, 50% chance to crit is good. But this is just too little. And so is this. 30% defense for 3 turns. If this was the 12 key, for 3 turns and this 18 key was 6 turns, that would make the world of difference. Because it's only 3 turns, that means that if he only super attacks once a turn, he's going to have a 60% defense buff on the second time he appears, and then it'll go away. That's just not enough. So he can still get hit really, really hard. Now, when his EZA comes out, if they add this up to 6 turns and they gave him defense here, oh my god, he'll actually be ridiculous. And then you have the Trunks in mind. Now, they're probably not going to get an EZA for a while, but who knows? This is Bandai Namco we're talking about. They can come out with one tomorrow for all we know. Very, very interesting unit. 30% chance to stun on the 12 key, 50% on the 18 key. I'm just not a huge fan that they pretty much rely on time travelers to have defense. If they don't have time travelers on their team, then they have 0 defense. Now, you're probably going to have a decent amount of time travelers on the team because they're a future unit. But with that said, you could be running certain future saga teams where the characters aren't time travelers. You know what I mean? You could be running this Int Gohan alongside of the Trunks, and guess what? He's not on time travelers, so he's not going to give you any kind of bonus. You could throw him on a revenge squad and put him alongside of the Tech Gohan here, and guess what? Not on time travelers, so not going to give him that attack and defense. It kind of just pigeonholes him onto one team, and that does restrict how he can be used. And then last but not least, you have the LR Frieza here. In my opinion, he does a ridiculous amount of attack, which is great, but 80% defense at a maximum is just not enough. If this was attack and defense 10%, attack and defense 20%, and another attack and defense 20%, and then last but not least, attack and defense 20% here, that would be incredible. But the fact that he just stays at 80% defense just means that he gets hit way too hard, and then you add on the fact that he's lowering his own attack on his 12 key, and it's just not enough, man. He just gets hit too darn hard. Let's climb our way up to the King Kai tier, and there's 4 units on here who are all pretty darn good, honestly. You have Goku Black and Zamasu, who, I mean, can you imagine when they get their EZA? Goodness gracious, it's going to be lights out. You have Beerus and Whis, you have Physical Cell and Cell Juniors, and then you have the Physical LR Bardock. Now, first off, this guy, he was at a big disadvantage when there wasn't the same name update. There isn't on Global, so that puts a big mark in his corner, meaning a big stain on his corner, because he's good, but honestly, the AGL Bardock is better. He's good in different in different types of events against a lot of people, against a small amount of people, but that transformation from AGL Goku just makes him the better unit. But with that said, this guy is still very, very strong. Same thing with this Physical Cell. When you have him next to other cells, they're just incredible, because even though you're looking at just 90%, you got to look at these links. Gentlemen, 10% defense. Messenger from the Future, more attack. Big Bad Bosses, 25% attack and defense. Shocking Speed, another 5% defense. Ultimate Life Form, 10% attack and defense. And you're getting back 3 HP plus the key, right? And then Fierce Battle and Legendary Power being attack links. So those all combine on top of the 90% to make him really, really strong. And he's got a few good linking partners. And then you have the LR Strength and Beerus. Now, he's a little bit more restricted in linking partners. It's really just like the Tech Beerus, the Physical Beerus, Vados, and Whis. Those are like the 4 main units that he can link decently with. And even then, the links aren't that strong in terms of key, because you're looking at Shocking Speed, you're looking at, that's it, Shocking Speed, the only key link that he has. So that's a little unfortunate, because off of the leader skills, he's going to be getting 3 key most of the time, so he's going to be at 6, and then with that, he's going to be at 8. And so if you want to get an 18 key, you need to give him 10 key or some kind of support on rotation. So that's going to make it a little bit tricky. Now, putting the Vados next to him is probably going to be the best bet, because you're going to have Siblings Bond, you're going to have Bond of Master and Disciple, so that's going to be a few key just from that. And then Realm of Gods, I believe you're going to get that as well. So you're going to get like a 60% attack and defense buff and like 3 key, which is nice. That'll put him at, 11 key, and then all you need to do is gain 7 key and then do your 18 key super attack. So that's not too bad. And then you have the Tech Goku Black and Zamasu. Absolutely love this card still to this day. One of my favorite LRs in the game. Just a stacking unit. That's all they are. They stack their attack. They stack their defense for 6 turns. This is what I was talking about for the Physical Trunks. Physical Trunks had this, he'd be so much better because this dude gains 30% defense for 6 turns. So that is a decent amount of time. So that means that he's going to appear, 3-4 times or whatever the case is. So that ain't bad. Like that's a lot better, more chances to super attack and whatnot. And he can hit really, really hard in the future. So all of these guys still pretty darn good, even though they're on the older side of LRs. We're going to slide right up to the Grand Kai tier, and we're going to start off with 2 units who I think are pretty midi. They're Midlingtons, you know what I mean? So you have Vegeta and Nappa. The Nappa is just a weird unit. Yes, I like that they greatly raise attack and defense on their 18 key, but I hate this passive. I think this passive sucks. 78% attack and defense, 5 key when HP is 78% or more. That's not bad, but here's the worst part. Additional 78% attack within the same turn after evading an attack. Well, they're an AGL unit, so they don't get built-in dodge. And they don't have any other dodge in their passive. That's just stupid, in my opinion. Also, this is dumb, too. 7,800 attack and defense for every enemy that they're facing. What is this? This is trash. This is going to barely put any kind of bonus on your attack and defense. And then last but not least, this is pretty much a joke here. Active skill, guaranteed dodge, but you lose 50% attack. So you're gaining 78% attack here, but then you're losing half of it. So like, what is this troll that they're doing here? With that said, the Vegeta card, once you get here, is fantastic, right? You're greatly raising your attack and defense, massively lowering defense. You're gaining that HP back when you come back, which is good. If you're facing only one enemy, you're at, 118? Yeah, 118% attack and defense. And then if you're facing superclass enemies, you're going to be at, 136% attack and defense, giving yourself 9 key. Like, that's ridiculous. And then when your key is 24, you're super effective or effective against all types. That's absolutely spectacular. If this was like such an easier transformation, besides this here, 4 turns, you have to be under 50% HP. If it was under 78% HP and you can exchange, oh, that'd be so good. And he'd be so much better. But honestly, this is going to be somewhat hard to pull off, especially since it's going to take 4 turns for it to happen. So not a huge fan. Int God Goku, a little overhyped in my opinion. I do think he's overhyped. Like, these 7-turn things is cool that he's got a 50% chance to dodge and crit, but it's only for 7 turns. And he has to be near Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans. So that means that even though he's on Realm of Gods, you can't run Jiren's, Topos, or anybody else because he's going to have just no defense, no key. None. Like, that is terrible. So even though he's going to crit for like a million. Like, it's just not impressive. I do like the super attack though. Greatly raises attack and defense for 3 turns. That's really cool. Again, if it was 6, that'd be so OP, but it's not. And so he just kind of is mid. His links are very good though. I will give him that. GT Heroes. Now, GT Heroes is a card that I really enjoy, but it's a card that is they just haven't shown any more love to in terms of Dragon Ball Seekers, in terms of more GT units. They kind of added some Super Saiyan 4s, and that's about it. They need to add more, like, standalone GT Goku that's good, a standalone Trunks that's good, a standalone Pan that's good. You know, more super units, a standalone Gohan, GT Gohan that's good. Because he does a ridiculous amount, right? Raises defense, does a ridiculous amount of attack, gives himself a lot of ki if you're on a Dragon Ball Seekers team. He just needs more characters that link better with him, because these links here, GT, like, come on, we need more GT units. It's such a great link there. I talk about this character a lot, man. Like, if you looked at this passive skill and you knew this guy's name was Goku, you'd be like, wow, this is one of the best units in the game. Attack and defense 15% per orb, plus an additional 5% attack and 2 ki if those orbs are physical, if you're getting 2 or more physical orbs. So that means you're getting 20% attack and defense. Hold on, is it 20%? Yeah, it's 20% attack and defense, and you're getting 3 ki for every physical orb. Oh my god. And oh, by the way, if you grab AGL or strength orbs, at least 2, you're giving everyone a 39% attack boost, and if you're grabbing at least 2 tech or int, you're giving everybody a 39% defensive boost. And lastly, if you grab at least 7 orbs, doesn't matter what the type or color is, you have guaranteed dodge. You're just like, wait, that's the most broken character in the game. What are you talking about? And then you go, but his links are Brainiacs, Solid Support, Cold Judgment, and he's only on 2 categories, Movie Boss and Joined Forces. And you're like, oh, okay, that's why they did that. That makes sense. Like, his passive is absolutely broken, and then everything else about him, like his super attack is good too, but everything else about him, his link set, his categories are just like, oh, all right, he's not going to link with anybody because these are just wonky hero and villain links because they're kind of here. Like, first off, these guys aren't extreme. They're not extreme. They did nothing bad. This is when they landed on Vampa. They are no longer beefing with anybody. They pieced it up with Goku and Vegeta. They're just chilling. Why are they extreme? It makes no sense. And then, like, only 2 categories. It just is so dumb. I actually hate it. And then last but not least, Android 17 and 18 plus 16, Exchange 16 here. These guys are good, but they're showing their age. 78%. Defense is just not enough anymore. It's just not enough. And especially if you drop below this 66% threshold, you lose that 30% chance to dodge. It can get very, very rough. Now, I do love that they give 2 ki and 40% attack. I would have loved if it was 40% attack and defense, but it is what it is. And then Android 16, listen, this was ridiculous when it first came out because it was like, oh my God, 200% attack and defense, 50% chance to crit, but then you're like, oh, but German is 200% attack and defense, and this dude can stun, and if he stuns, it's guaranteed crits, and it's like, all right, never mind. And German is always there. He's not an exchange for 3 turns, right? So, and he's also not sacrificing his own HP. So, yeah, they kind of aged a bit. They're still good. Don't get me wrong. They're still really, really solid, but they're showing their age just a little bit. All right, here we go. Supreme Kai tier. This, by the way, Goku and Frieza's position is going to change very soon in the next 2 weeks. So just keep that in mind. But we're first going to start off with Tech Goku and Frieza. Absolutely spectacular still to this day. Unfortunately, if they get hit before they attack, then they can get clapped very easily. But if you have them positioned in the 2nd or 3rd slot, then they should be fine. They do an immense amount of damage if the enemy is in attack down status and they're doing an ultra super attack. I'm talking about 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 million attack stats. It's absolutely insanity. And then their link set is very, very, very good. So they're still really strong. But like I said, their main weakness is not being able to take a hit if they end up in the 1st slot. The 3-year anniversaries, dude, talk about characters that just aged like fine wine. 120% attack and defense, still great. 3 ki for every rainbow orb, still fantastic. And then, yes, the transformation condition still sucks. 6 turns, have to be under 50% HP. But when you turn into Super Vegito, dude, those counters hurt. And every time you do a super attack, you're raising allies' attack by 30%. So that's incredible. And it's in the same vein as the Gogeta, right? Gogeta does exactly the same stuff. The main difference is when he transforms, he's effective against all types. And he's going to lower attack and defense on his super attack. So still really, really good. And then you have the LR Tech Broly. I mean, this guy's just an offensive monster. I do think that his defense is very much lacking. Some people don't like to admit that, but his defense sucks. Like, let's just be honest. There's not a lot of tech units, or I'm sorry, not a lot of strength units, not a lot of Broly units that have good defense. I mean, you can kind of point out like Broly and Strength EZA Broly as some of the rare units that have very, very strong defense. But 100% defense is just not cutting it. Maybe if he massively lowered attack, that would be fantastic. But even then, he's built for offense. That's all you can really say about it. LR Bojack, man, this guy is still really good, even without Strength Bojack. But with Strength Bojack, oh my God, he's incredible. You're talking about a guy who, with Strength Bojack next to him, could be over 300k defense. I'll say that again. You're talking about an LR that came out in October of 2017 that alongside of Strength Bojack is going to be doing 5 million attack stats, which will give every extreme unit on rotation 40% additional attack, and his defense will be over 300k. That doesn't make sense, but there he is. You have LR Baby. Now, LR Baby is a pick that maybe not everybody would have as high as I do, but I just think he's fantastic, dude. I love the fact that he's got the 50% chance of going Giant Ape when it's under 40% HP, because this has helped me a ton. And I like that unlike some other giant forms, he gains an additional key when he grabs an orb, which is nice. But if you're facing pure Saiyans and hybrid Saiyans, just like Strength Cooler, he hits so damn hard. And there's not a lot of units in the game that lower attack. And lowering attack seems to be more and more important nowadays. Defense as well, but lowering attack is really important. All right, we've made it to the Beerus tier, and we first got to start off with Tech 17. Now, I love this card, but I understand his drawbacks. First off, if you can build a team around him, his defense is going to be over 300k, and he's going to be doing 5 million attack stats like in Bojack, which is amazing. The problem is he's kind of all over the place because GT Bosses is just a terrible leader skill, and his passive doesn't help anybody in GT Bosses, which is just weird. And then Androids is good because he's going to be buffing Androids here and target Goku. And I'd say like what, half of the androids in the category are target Goku, so that's not bad. But yeah, this guy is fantastic. His active skill is also really, really good. It's just he's a little disjointed, and this GT Box's leader skill just is absolute trash. Next up, Spirit Bomb Goku. This guy is spectacular. Like, he can do over 200k defense very easily. He can do turn 1 5, 6, 7, 8 million attack stats, maybe even more. And if you want, he can seal the enemy super attack. So he's great for Super Battle Road. He's great for longer events. He's just really, really powerful. And for some people that say like, oh, you need Super Saiyans on his team, it's like, well, I'm here to tell you that the majority of teams you're going to be putting him on, Turtle School, Super Saiyans, Final Trump Card, Connected Hope, Movie Heroes, Pure Saiyans. There's a lot of Super Saiyans. A lot of Super Saiyans on those categories. So I guarantee you're going to have an easy time filling out units to put on his team. Next up, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Still a spectacular card. Yes, he only starts off with 20% defense, which sucks, but he raises his defense by 100%, both on his 18 key and his 12 key, so that's really nice. You just don't get hit beforehand. 30% chance to dodge is great. Grabs a ton of key with either AGL or Rainbow. 3 key for Rainbow, 4 key for AGL, so that's really, really solid. And then his active skill, insanely easy. Wait 4 turns, do ridiculous amount of damage. Same thing with Super Saiyan 4 Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. He starts with only 20% attack, which is like, okay, not really good. He does massively raise his attack for 1 turn on his 12 key, and then does both on his 18 key. Now, I do wish that he did. I wish he did both on 12 and 18, honestly, but because like his defense is still not great, just at 80%. And so you always have to have 18 key, and sometimes it could be hard to get an 18 key. But with that said, I mean, the active skill is still fantastic, and he's still a really great card. Moving along, LR Int Rose, just unbelievable amounts of damage this dude can do, even at 55%. But he's a unit that really shines with dupes. Once you have him at 100%, good lord. The 9 million attack stats, the 10 million attack stats, the very, very good defense when he greatly raises defense, when he's able to super attack. Now, just keep in mind, don't let him get hit beforehand, or else he'll get absolutely slapped up. And the rage skill, yeah, it's kind of a crap requirement for it to go in, but it's really powerful as well. Again, you know how I mentioned I love the ones that give you extra key. Well, he does that, and his attacks are effective against all types, so that's Very powerful indeed. Last but not least, on this tier, we have the Super Saiyan 2 Angel Vegeta. Just an absolute madman. Unit super attack is so powerful, does unbelievable amounts of damage. And he's kind of like the Rose, right? He gets stronger with the more orbs he gets. Unfortunately, the one thing that I'm not a huge fan of is that just like the Rose, they don't gain their bonus until they actually attack. And so he's only at 70% defense. And then if you gain like 10 orbs, then he's gaining an additional 40%, right? He caps here at 70%, an extra 70%. But he won't gain this until he actually attacks. So if you put him in the first slot and he gets hit first, he can get hit extremely hard. But with that said, he's still a spectacular unit. We've ascended to the Guide Angel tier, and we're going to start off with a unit that pretty much everybody's looking to wonder, or everyone's wondering where the hell I rated him. The Tapion and Minosha. Now, Tapion and Minosha, fantastic, support lead. Siblings Bond is probably going to be their biggest feature here. Storied figures, a little lacking on the characters, but Siblings Bond is just a really, really good category. And the fact that he's a double support is really good. The fact that he's going to lower attack and defense is really solid as well. His 18 key only lowering defense, I'm not a huge fan of, but I do like the fact that he's going to gain damage reduction. And then his active skills, literally one of the best in the game, right? Gets rid of all negative effects on allies. So if they're stunned, sealed, defense is lowered, attack is lowered, that's going to all go away, and everyone's going to gain 3 key and 20% attack and defense for 2 turns. So your turn and the next rotation, that's absolutely fantastic. This dude is really, really strong. Unfortunately, his links kind of limit who he can be run with. AGL Tapion or Tech Tapion. Next. We have the Goku and Vegeta, Super Saiyan Blue Goku, Kaioken, and Royal Blue Vegeta or Evolution Blue Vegeta. These dudes are kind of slept on a little bit, I think, by a lot of people because they're absolutely incredible. They're very similar to the Vegeta, that physical Vegeta that I told you about, where 70% attack and defense, but they actually gain more attack and defense per orb. And I love that they're gaining that unbelievable amounts of crit and key when they're grabbing those rainbow orbs. And the fact that they're going to launch those additional attacks with the rainbow orbs just shows that they're going to be able to pump out a lot of damage while lowering attack on both 18 and 12 key. My big problem with them, though, is that they lowered their defense on their active skill. Not really a fan of that. It would have been cool if it was like lowers defense by 50% but gains dodge 50% or high chance to dodge, whatever the case was. That would be really cool. Active skill is not that hard to do, 50%. There's no turn requirement, right? So if you get hit turn 1 and you drop below 50% HP, boom, you can use the active skill, finish somebody off really quickly. So that's pretty nice. If we move along, LRAGL Gohan, still a spectacular unit, stacking defense on both 12 and 18 key. It's going to get stronger every single turn, gaining 10% attack and defense every single turn, extra key every single turn, while gaining defense every single turn because you're super attacking. So at the end of it, you're just going to be a wall while doing 4 or 5 million attack stats easily. Not hard at all. Their active skill condition still sucks, but if you're able to pull it off, then this dude is literally one of the hardest nuking units in the game. If we keep going, Intelligent Cell, just a good all-round character. Great defense, 80% attack and defense. And then if you are at full HP, you're going to gain an additional 80% defensive boost, which is pretty ridiculous. Plus, the more enemies you have, the more attack you're going to gain. The Perfect Cell is much easier to hit than the Gohan, the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, because you just got to drop below 30% HP. So this is kind of like a get out of jail free card. It's kind of like a revival mechanic, essentially. And then once you're in this phase here, he can also do unbelievable amounts of single target damage. Very, very strong. And then his active skill is also pretty strong too. Speaking about strong active skills, this one is for sure drop below 60% HP, 3 turns pass, and you're going to be able to do a ridiculous amount of damage. But this guy is known for his damage. That's what he does. And not to mention, once he's fully stacked up, you're sitting at over 200% attack and defense. I'd say that's pretty good. The thing is that people like to say, like, oh, he has key issues, like Tech Gohan, and he takes too long. No, you're wrong. Sorry, you're wrong. This guy does not take too long to get strong. He just has to show up one time because it's not every turn he's gaining 1 key and 10% attack and defense. It's not every super attack he's gaining 1 key and attack and defense 10%. It's every attack performed. Every attack performed. And he's doing a minimum of 2 because he launches a guaranteed additional attack. Guaranteed additional attack. So that means that minimum first turn, he's going to walk away with an extra 2 key and 20% attack and defense on top of this. Comes back around, he's going to do another 2. Guess what? He's almost at his key cap right there. And that's if you don't get lucky with an additional super attack via the hidden potential system. So this here, 100% attack and defense, is going to be very, very, very easy to get to. It's only going to take a few turns, and then he's going to be max and going to be pumping out unbelievable amounts of damage. This guy is really, really crazy. And then last but not least, LR Kalen Caulifla in the same boat as the Tech Goten and Trunks, because a lot of people say the same thing where, oh, they take too long. They stack defense, but they take too long. Dummy, you're wrong. Because guess what? They do the same thing. They gain 1 key and dodge with every attack performed. Not every super attack performed, not every turn, every normal attack performed or super attack performed, they're going to give themselves another key and another dodge. So anybody saying like, oh, they're going to have key issues. No, they're not. Oh, they're going to have damage issues. No, they're not, because guess what? They're going to be attacking like crazy. So even if they're only doing 1 million attacks guess what? That 1 million hits 4 times. You're done did 4 million. And then if you decide to bring a few characters that would link up well with them, that also happen to be in Universe 6 or Joint Forces or Pure Saiyans, or you're facing off against Universe Survival Saga or Pure Saiyans, which is like ridiculous amount of units, then they're going to be even stronger. 2, 3, 4 million attack stats, every attack. And by the way, they have the potential of doing like 4 super attacks in 1 turn. So absolutely crazy unit. And I didn't even mention the 6% dodge that they gain up to 66%. So they can get up to almost AGL UI Goku's max dodge. That's absolutely ridiculous. We're almost at the tippity top. We're heading into the Grand Priest tier, and you just have a bunch of big body boys here. So first off, LR Jiren. Good God almighty. You guys already know what he does. 200% attack and defense. I talked about him before. The sheer amount of power that this man does, plus with an absolutely ridiculous active skill. It is a bit annoying to get off because you have to get hit 5 times. And sometimes that can happen turn 1. Sometimes that can happen turn 10. So that does suck. But he's just power. Power in a card form. That's all he is. If we move along, Strave Turles, talk about utility. Utility in a card form. 30% chance to crit on the 12 key. 50% chance to, stun. I don't know why I keep saying crit. 50% chance to stun on the 18 key and 30% on the 12 key. I'm being a little dumb right now myself. But Terrifying Conquerors, support, ridiculous. Attacks effective against all types when target enemy is stunned. Oh, guess what? He's got that 50% chance to do that. And then if you give him 24 key, then 50% chance of an additional plus guaranteed attacks effective against all types. And he's the only card, I think still to this day, that has a active skill that you can use twice. So essentially you'll have 2 instances where you can do attack effective against all types. It's really, really good. It's just going to take you 8 turns, so that does suck. Tech Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, I absolutely love this card because he actually gains his stats when he gains his orbs. And he's got like a Nuker's Paradise for a passive and an active skill. They coincide perfectly to be able to produce a 20 million attack stat. So this guy's very, very strong, incredible defensively. He can go from 200k to 300k defense very easily. He can do 8-9 million attack stats very easily. He's just absolutely incredible Super Saiyan 2. And then you have Strength UI Goku. I think people know about Strength UI Goku, how damn good he is. 70% chance to dodge for 7 turns. But guess what? Every time he dodges, he gets stronger. His only weakness is if he does get hit and doesn't dodge, that 30% comes in, then he can get hit very hard early on. But later on, not going to be a problem because you're going to be sitting at over 200% attack and defense with a ton of ki. And I also like his super attack. I like that he disables enemies' guard because that helps out the rest of the rotation. And you don't have to worry about doing very little damage, right? So that's always solid. And then you have the 5-year anniversary Gogeta. Listen, he's good for the first 3 turns. He's going to do decent damage. His defense is going to suck. You know, it's going to be sitting like 100k, maybe less, like 90k. So it's not going to be particularly good. But once this man transforms 3 turns down the road, oh, baby, baby, baby. Attacks effective against all types, gaining attack and defense, gaining ki, doing a guaranteed additional attack, but it's going to be effective. So just absolutely powerful. And the same goes along for the Tech Vegito. Same exact thing, except the difference is he does a guaranteed additional super attack. So he's going to get hit. He's going to hit very, very hard. And as long as he gets hit after he supers, both him and the Gogeta, they'll be just fine. So we done did it. We've finally ascended to godhood. Zeno tier is here, and you got nothing to fear because first off, we have the strength Goku and Vegeta. They're just great everywhere, right? They're going to be very tanky on their super attack. They're going to be tanky because of their 30% damage reduction. They are so easy to get 18 ki because they get more ki per orb that they grab, and then they have a 30% chance to additional super attack. It's incredible. Their active skill is not hard to obtain, and when they transform, they gain back a ton of HP. They're still going to be decently tanky because of the 150% defense here, and they're still increasing their attack and defense when they're super attacking, but they're not going to be as tanky as they were because they lose the damage reduction. With that said, every counter they do does so much damage, and the big thing, the big huge thing is they can see super attacks for 10 turns. That is so vital for 10 damn turns. Incredible. This man doesn't need that ability because he stacks defense and attack, 18 and 12 ki, right? He also has that 30% chance to super attack, additional super attack. You gain back 12% HP at the start of turn. People leave that out a lot. Gains back 12% HP at the start of turn. Majins have potentially one of the best link sets in the game, right? Recovering HP, ki, attack and defense, all that stuff. And then when you've sufficiently built up his defense to 400k or 500k, wherever you want it to be, you can transform into Ultimate Buhan, and you're going to be able to seal the enemy's super attack. Now, keep in mind, if you transform early, yes, this will come in handy in Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, if you're able to do it, right? Because you'll be able to seal those super attacks. That's fun. That's good. That's great. But it's probably not going to be feasible. With that said, you're still going to have that 30% chance of an additional super attack. You're still going to get that extra ki, and you're also giving yourself an additional 5 ki for 5 turns. And oh, by the way, you gain one of the best links in the game, Big Bad Bosses. That's pretty good if you ask me. And then last but not least, we have a little gentleman here who doesn't even need Big Bad Bosses because he is the Big Bad Boss. You're talking about Strength LR Broly, Easy A. You're talking about a guy who on his 12 ki is going to attack everybody while simultaneously raising his attack and defense. And on his 18 ki, he's going to do the same, but it's going to be Mega Colossal Damage, just focused on one target. His 50% attack and defense is his only drawback that he starts off with. He can get hit fairly hard if you get hit before you're able to attack. But if you get hit after you attack, it's a joke because he's going to give himself an additional 50% attack and defense. And remember, he always launches an additional super attack when he supers. So he's guaranteed 2 additional super attacks. Did I mention that if he's facing pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans, which is like 60% of the game, he gives himself 5 ki. So that 18 ki is going to be easy to get, I would imagine. And oh, by the way, if he's facing Goku's family, which is one of the biggest categories in the game, his attacks are effective against all types and cannot be dodged. So GT Legendary Goku event is an absolute joke It is just a little jest. It's a funny little story that's told to him, because he takes his Omega Blaster and his gigantic meteor, and he absolutely pummels Goku over the head. So there you go. That is the full list from Zeno tier all the way down to Master Roshi tier. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. If you have any disagreements, if you have agreements, whatever the case is, let me know down below. And while you're down there, if you haven't followed the channel, click that blue join button, become a Boomer champion like Joe V and Wolverine Gaming, or you can do it the free-to-play way. Gently rub that sub button, gingerly ring that bell button, lovingly kiss the like button. As always, this is Periodic. See y'all in the next video.